Hi everyone, my name is Diego Karstens, and today I'll be going over the game world I created for this project, Adolinia. Now, first question you might ask yourself is, what exactly is Adolinia? Well, it's a word I made up, obviously. No, but in all seriousness, it's actually a world that I made up. And here are some of the important things you need to know about the world of Adolinia. First thing is that there's lightning, and the second thing is that there's even more lightning, and the third thing is that there's even more lightning after that. Basically, the world of Adolinia since the beginning of time has been under the constant threat of gigantic lightning storms. And because the world of Adolinia is set in fantasy slash medieval times, the world has been reduced to a barren wasteland of rock. And people don't really know what to do. They've mostly just hid in shelters and have formed small towns in order to get by. But it seems that humanity is going to become extinct because there's very little shrubbery and there's gigantic creatures that have harnessed the powers of lightning that are basically terrorizing all of humanity. Now, this has gone on for thousands of years. However, this began to change with the introduction of the Metalians. The Metalians are a group of scientists who discovered how to use metal and to control lightning. They accidentally stumbled on the properties of conduction and induction in order to transmit electricity through metal or to harness its power into a magnetic field. Now, with this introduction of conduction and induction, these scientists were able to develop new tools and advance human society into one that can thrive in this world. This led to the development of the Kingdom of Shakhtar. The Kingdom of Shakhtar is a giant, basically, city-state where all humans live, or most of them, that has control over all of the technology that has been made with the metal, and these scientists basically lead the government here. Now, one of the biggest developments made in the Kingdom of Shakhtar is the development of augmentations. The Battalions found ways to augment people that allow them to have some control over lightning and its powers. One such development was the Eye of Shining Justice, which is also the artifact that I made. One of the augmentations that the Kingdom of Shakhtar made was the Eye of Shining Justice, which is essentially an electrical eye that people can implant in themselves, and the concept of this was taken from the idea of electrical stimulation, which is used to improve eyesight. And I basically enhanced on this in the game by making the eye grant people, either enemies or the player, enhanced kinetic vision. Now that you've seen the artifact, this is just an example of some of the technologies that the Metalians have made. Because of this, humans are now less under the threat of lightning and can now advance onwards to explore the new world. And this caused them to discover the forest spirits. Upon exploring the new world, humans ended up encountering a huge forest of trees that reached inconceivable heights, and in this forest lived the forest spirits. The forest spirits were a group of intelligent beings that have discovered how to harness the energies of the world, including the lightning. Now, this is where the conflict began. The Metalians, hungry for power, believed that no one else should have the power to control lightning, and because of this, as one would guess, they went to war. However, not everyone wanted to go to war. There were some people who believe that they can coexist with the forest spirits, and they became known as the Foriani Alliance. The Foriani Alliance believed that they could coexist with the forest spirits and decided to side with them against the Kingdom of Shakhtar. However, the forest spirits feel betrayed by the humans still, and are still unaccepted of the Foriani Alliance, keeping them at a distance because they don't know whether they would end up betraying them as well. Now, with the world introduced, it's time to bring in the main character of the story and the player character, Devla. Devla is a was born and raised in the kingdom of Shakhtar, and she rose through the ranks to become an elite soldier. She is basically only known fighting and has no recollection of who her parents are. And, however, a strange thing about her fighting prowess is that she's never fought against a forest spirit. Every time she's been sent on a mission, she's only fought against soldiers from the Foriani Alliance, and this leaves her with questions on who the enemy really is, as she hasn't encountered a forest spirit, so she can't really develop a hatred for them. Now, one time on a mission, she finds herself ambushed by a powerful unnamed warrior. She ends up being defeated badly, but the warrior leaves her alive on the ground. And upon waking up, Devla finds herself in a lush forest, fully treated and all her wounds closed, and is greeted by a forest spirit by the name of Fern. This is Fern, our NPC. Fern is a wind spirit that Devla encounters early on during the game, and Fern is a curious, whimsical spirit that has never seen a human before. Upon Devla's awakening, the two introduce each other briefly after a semi-hostile meeting from Devla, as she has been grown to hate the forest spirits, but she ultimately grows to become curious, and this is where the player has a choice to make regarding Fern. This brings me to our mirror board, where I'll go over the NPC action that Fern takes in the story, as well as the decision that the player can make. So, after being gravely injured in battle, Devla finds Fern, and Fern is an NPC that will ask a player if they would like to learn more about the forest spirits from where she lives. Learning about them can also help when making future decisions. Now, the player has a choice to either ask for more information about the forest spirits, or say that they don't want to hear about the forest spirits and still kind of treats them as enemies, as she is hostile towards them. If the player asks for more information, the NPC will tell the player stories about other NPCs they might encounter, subtly dropping hints for battle or for future dialogue options. The result of this is the player has a better idea on how to fight certain enemies or how to respond to other NPCs. Fern also becomes a friend and joins the party as a healer, making combat easier. Because of this, the story now progresses to a different branch where the player is able to learn about the forest spirits and side with them, learning more about the origins of lightning and of the world. However, if the player decides that Fern is a nuisance and that forest spirits are enemies, the result is that the player will fight without help and will have to make difficult choices without any clues whatsoever. The player will have a harder time fighting as Fern is not part of the party, and dialogue options can lead to the forest spirits not trusting the player and ended up treating her as an enemy. The player will not be able to directly side with the forest spirits and will be exiled if poor choices are made. Now it's time to go to the game that I created for this world. Hello and welcome to Adolinia, the game world that I created in Unity. And in this demonstration, I'll show you a simple JRPG turn-based combat system that I developed in order to demonstrate the game world. So as you can see here, we have Devla, the player character, as well as Fern, an NPC, fighting against Drakir the Prowler. Now in this example, Devla has two options, the player. You can either choose to attack or to charge. Charging is essentially the same as healing. And then once the player goes, the NPC, Fern, will choose to either attack Drakir the Prowler or heal the player character. And Fern has a higher chance of healing when the player character is at low HP. After Fern goes, the Drakir will go and he will attack either Devla or Fern. And as you can see here in this combat system, after we manage to land an attack, then Fern will go and Fern decides to attack since he has full HP, causing him to lose a little bit HP, and Drakir manages to attack Devla. After this, it is our turn again. And we're simply going to go attack here because we're still at a decent amount of HP and we feel like we can do a little bit. So you can see here Fern manages to heal Devla a little bit, and then he manages to attack Fern. And here you can see the benefits of the NPC system. By having an NPC and choosing to fight alongside it, we can make this fight a little easier by having someone who can tank hits as well as heal us a little and do a little bit of extra damage whenever the time comes. So, Here I'm going to choose the charge just because we're a little bit low and I wanted to show you the function. So as you can see here, definitely heals a little bit, needs to make sure however still continues to attack. So as you can see here, the NPCC stuff is very beneficial. And with the way that the game with the way the game goes based on how I made it, it could be an healing one. So you can choose to either accept the NPC's help or not, even though accepting it will be a great benefit to you.